Hello, it's me, LJPS, and I'm back again. And despite that line, I'm not doing an Eminem album. But instead of taking ages in the intro, how about we just fucking get onto it? Get into this album because, well, I've been itching like a crackhead to get into it. I want to listen, but in fact, I want to get into this band on this channel. I'm already into the band. I fucking love this band. But like I said in the last video, Foo Fighters is in my top 5 of my favourite bands. This is not. This is me number 1 at the moment. But if you've read the titles, you know we're doing the Silver Screen by my favourite band, Ice Nine Kills, who have 2.1 monthly Spotify listeners, and their most popular song has over 70 million plays. My personal favourite is a tie between The Shower Scene, The American Nightmare, Thank God It's Friday, and Assault and Batteries. But today we're not talking about any of them. We're talking about their debut album, The Burning. And it is from 2007 and has 7 tracks. And from what I've heard from Ice Nine Kills, it is quite good. But it's very different to their later stuff, such as The Silver Scream and its sequel, Welcome to Horror Road, and Every Trick in the Book. Jesus Christ, I'm stuttering a lot today. I plan to cover all their albums because, frankly, from what I've heard, they are some of my favourite bands. I'm in the middle of Safe as Just a Shadow, and then I'm going to listen to The Predator Becomes the Prey, if I remember correctly. But it's gonna take a while with all the Foo Fighters shit I'm taking. But either way, let's get into this album. Starting it off, we have The Greatest Story Ever Told.
How can this happen? Am I dreaming again? Her body's not moving, I'm assuming she's dead.
Yes, I've changed the camera angle. It didn't work back well. But anyways, this track is, like I said, very different to their later work. But because it's different doesn't mean it's bad in the slightest. Like, it still has all the staples of modern Ice Nine Kills, the screaming, the amazing guitar, the heavy hitting drums. This track is an 8. The only thing it's missing from the staples is the clown sound. But it's an 8, which is better than 2 tracks on my favourite album by them, which is The Silver Scream. But anyways, next up is In Throes of a Moral Quandary, or however the fuck you say that word. This track is also quite good, slightly worse than the Greatest Story I've ever... Slightly worse than The Greatest Story Ever Told, but if this came on during Shuffle, I wouldn't skip it, because it is really a good song. Like, personally, I think this album only has 1 skip, but there's some parts which I personally don't like, but it's just my taste. I have different taste, but A is to you. But it's still a good song at heart. So next up, Dead is the New Black. So happy I'm not watching Orange is the New Black. Actually, I probably like that show. Oh well. Let's listen to that for 15 seconds and then you can hear my stupid voice and ugly face again. Well, while listening to this, I started realising it has similarities from future and past bands such as MCR and Pierce the Veil. And if you don't know what MCR stands for, it's My Chemical Romance, you dumb, uncultured fuck. But personally, I think this album is better from what I've heard from MCR and Pierce the Veil, respectively. But album-wise, what I mean, not like band-wise, like, fucking love Pays the Bill, and Early Sunset Over Monroeville, it's just a fucking tune. I sounded Geordie. But, this track isn't ace, because, well, it's fucking good. Listen to it. I'm not gonna tell you, like, I'm not gonna tell you anything more. You need to listen to it. But anyways, it's extremely good. Anyways, next up is You Scratched My Anchor. You Scratch My Anchor is probably the most mixed songs on this album. Like, it has soft and it has heavy. It switches, but it works really well, in my opinion. But, like I said, another really good song. The guitar is amazing and the drums is usual for this band, which is on point, because it's just fucking good. It's literally great music to my ears. But this track is a 7, but Dead Is the New Back is the new back. Oh, I love my black back. Dead Is the New Black is an extremely good song, but not the best on the album. But next up is Build Your Own Disaster. Build Your Own Disaster is another amazing track on the album. It is another 7, however, because once again, it's just another part which I just don't like. But it doesn't take away from their future stuff, because I still love the band. Like, I however love the fading out and coming back decently heavy. But next up is What I Should Have Learned in Study Hall. I personally don't feel like the acoustic suits this band, unlike Avenged Sevenfold, which can have tracks like Second Heartbeat and then go on to make Gunslinger, which, by the way, are absolutely amazing songs, and for when I cover them albums, are 10s, if I remember correctly. But I just don't feel like the band should have inserted an acoustic song in this album. I think they should have released it as a single. But, like, an acoustic song in the middle of a heavy album doesn't usually work, and here it just proves my point. Like, by far it's the worst on the album in my opinion. But nah, it just doesn't suit it whatsoever, which was a bit of a mistake, but it got a, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, all these good songs, and then What I Should Have Learned in Study Hall, like, it, fuck's sake, I'm really bad at explaining things. It just doesn't go with the flow, which is a Queens of the Stone Age song. But this track, it's still good. Not extremely good, but just good. But not for the album. So it's getting a 6. And on to the final track of the album, Last Words. Just wow. This track is by far the best on the album, with the guitar being the best, like, some of the best I've heard, definitely on the album. The drums sounding absolutely amazing, and the vocals just being the cherry on top to this track. It's getting a 9 out of 10, but this album has just been an absolute ride, so let's talk about it. Yeah, I am putting the camera back here for this last bit. Well, for a first album, it's outperformed Foo Fighters, outstandingly so. Like, and I don't go seeking for this album the same as Foo Fighters. debut. Like, I don't go seeking for neither of these albums, but I did enjoy them both. But either way, for a debut, an 8 out of 10, it shows amazing promise for this band, which they followed up on. Like, the Silver Scream for me is just an amazing. Same with Welcome to Horrorwood, but like, I haven't listened to, like I said earlier in the video, Safe is Just a Shadow and Predator Becomes the Prey, but do expect them in future when I have listened to them, because I want to cover everything this band has done, except for the singles. But either way, that cover of fucking Walking on Sunshine is amazing as well. But I'm very excited for future videos with this band, and I don't know if you can hear us right because I'm all the way back here, but it's just fucking amazing. And once again, I'm gonna be excited for them 2 albums, which I've just mentioned previously, and in my next video I shall be covering, you know what, we'll wait and find out. But you stay tuned on this channel, subscribe to TMM, subscribe here, LJPS, and subscribe to Fishing with Dummies. Anyways, this has been me. In a bit.